Good evening, ballers and ballettes. It's producer P stepping in for Coach Anand. We are also here with our co-host,
Coach Oli.
Coach Oli's in the house. We have a great show for you guys. Um, I'm excited. I know about you, Coach Oli. Coach Oli, been excited for this guest speaker.
I'm really excited.
I'm really excited. This gentleman has I don't even know where to begin. He has some amazing accolades and um, things behind him and programs that he's been a part of. Um, this gentleman is a graduate of Humber College in Toronto's Fitness and Health Promotions program. He's also a certified trainer, personal trainer through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Um, Previously, he was the head strength coach at St. Lawrence College in Kingston, Ontario, and prior to that, he also served as the head strength conditioning coach at Seneca College. He was also the lead strength conditioning coach at Humber College as well too. So giving back to his program. Currently, he is the lead strength and conditioning coach at McMaster University, varsity men's basketball team, as well as performance coach at Pursuit Athlete Center in Guelph, Ontario. Last but not least, this fine gentleman also serves as the strength conditioning coach for the junior academy program for the Canadian national team at the cadet and junior level. This gentleman that we're pleased to have join with us today is Coach Jay Melhado. Coach, are you with us?
Yep, I'm here, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
Hey, thanks, Coach, for taking the time. I know it's being out east, you're 3 hours ahead of us, so we'll try to keep it short and sweet. But we really want to say thank you for being part of our show and we'll welcome you to Been a Minute. Um, Coach Oli, can you take it away from here, please?
Yeah, so I've got some rapid fire questions for you. I'll ask some questions and then Coach Paul will have some, or Producer P, sorry, you'll have some questions for you after I ask mine. So we'll just begin. Where are you from and where did you grow up?
I'm from Hamilton. Grew up in Hamilton. Spent my whole life there until going off to college. And currently, I'm in Kitchener, Ontario.
Okay, so you didn't you said you didn't go to school in Hamilton?
I went to high school in Hamilton, and then went to college at Humber College in Toronto.
Oh, so what did you take at Humber College?
I took fitness and health promotions. So it's a 2-year diploma program.
How long have you played basketball, and where did you play if you had played?
I actually didn't play basketball, high school basketball, or rep basketball. But I had a hoop in my driveway. Some of my best friends were on the team in high school, and as we transitioned to university, they continued to play on in university. And I have a younger cousin who played high level rep basketball in Hamilton, and so I got a chance to see what that world is like. As a friend and as a cousin, but not so much as a player.
Right. So like it's not even about like even I guess playing is really exciting, but even just watching other players is pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, for sure. Especially as you grow up together, right? And you see them get better and you see them kind of reach higher levels. It was really cool to see them play at university and go to their games in our first couple years of university. So yeah, you definitely get that excitement.
So how long have you coached for like the basketball and strength and conditioning world?
I've been kind of in strength and conditioning for about 15 years, so it's been a while. We'll touch on some of those stops, and I have done some team basketball coaching as well, like sport coaching as well. But yeah, in performance area, been about 15 years.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about your journey. There's obviously there should be like some progression from your coaching, right? So where did you start off? How did you get involved with coaching, and what's your passion for it?
Yeah, I kind of got involved in strength training. In high school, I played football and track and field, and as I entered my final year of high school, I wanted to improve my performance in those sports as I was finishing up my high school career. So, we had some disappointments in the seasons prior, and And so, I spent the summer, working out, and that was my first introduction to it. And the passion grew from there, wanting to continue to be involved in sports in some capacity. And the more I got into it, the more my passion became specific within, kind of the preparation side and warm-ups and making sure athletes are properly prepared for practice or for games. That kind of grew out of those experiences, right?
Yeah. So what other sports did you play? You mentioned you played football earlier. What did you play anything else?
Yeah. I played hockey mainly, as a kid. In the summertime, played soccer. As I mentioned, played all the sports in elementary school, and then as I transitioned to high school, kind of played football and really ran track all 5 years of high school. And so those were kind of my main sports. Hockey, I played all the way, up, but track and field as I got into high school.
I see. So, this is just a random question, but
yeah, for sure.
Being on the East Coast, and you said you played soccer in the summer. Did you ever try playing soccer in the snow?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we would play on the playground and stuff. I mean, when it came to wintertime, my schedule, as I started getting older and playing rep hockey, it was tough just to kind of get my schoolwork done, right? We were, just like basketball, practicing every day and
Right.
tournaments on the weekend. So, there was a stretch there where my calendar was pretty full, right? But yeah, soccer in the snow is real fun, and football in the snow is real fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing soccer because I grew up in Edmonton, so there's snow everywhere, and it was just hard to play in the fields without having snow in the way. But that you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's your favorite food and why?
That's a great one. My my producer P is gonna like these answers, I think. My background is Jamaican and Guyanese, so I kind of split the difference, and I can't pick a side, and so jerk chicken is up there, and so is curry chicken and roti.
Sir.
Especially when it's grandma's home cooking, and so those are my favorite choices. Just kind of brings back those memories of family dinners and spending time with the grandparents.
What's one thing that not too many people know about you?
This was another kind of great one. I think too many people who know me know that I'm really big into shoes and sneaker culture, and so that would be my cop out answer. But I also really love a great hamburger, and so anytime I'm traveling, I'm always checking the lists on the top 10 burgers in certain cities, and always trying to check them out, and so that's probably something that not a ton of people know is that I really love burgers, and I'm always trying to kind of search out the best one. So when I come to out west, I know who to ask, right? You guys will set me up.
Yeah, for sure. Would you rather have the burger from a restaurant or from a fast food place?
Yeah, either way. I mean, sometimes the fast food places, those kind of hole in the wall places are make a great burger, and then at the same time, sometimes you go into those fancy restaurants and the toppings are kind of out there, but they're still good too in their own way.
Sure. So those are my questions. Producer P has some questions for you. Producer P.
Before I even get to my questions, Coach, I'm loving the Jamaican food, So anytime that you're making some food, or anyone's making some food, you know who to reach me at. Jamaican food, I'm there. I'm there.
For sure.
Well, those are some awesome answers, and trying to get to know you here is good. I mean, you and I connected through the coaches panel that I was a part of, so it's a real treat. Just and then we know a lot of the same people too as well too back in Ontario. We wanted to continue to get to know you, and just want to know, have you done much traveling, and if so, where's been your best or most favorite trip, and why?
Yeah, I think I love to travel. It's probably one of the things that I, missed the most with the COVID-19 restrictions, and probably one of the first things I'm going to do when things get lifted. Favorite trip is tough. I've had a lot of travel partners over the years, and I don't want anyone to, kind of catch feelings, but I'd have to say going to Las Vegas, going to Las Vegas last year. I go every year for a basketball symposium, but this past year, 2019, I guess, I was able to go with my girlfriend and one of my best friends who's a strength coach out at McGill University, and it's a good mix of some fun, but also some work, right? And so I feel like those are kind of the best trips, right, where you're learning, but you're also balancing kind of the fun aspect, right? And there's so much to do and see there. It's not like you have to be a gambler or you have to kind of be heavy into the nightlife. There's just tons to do there, and so it's a city I really enjoy visiting.
Yeah, so it's a good mix of business and pleasure. I mean, I do that all the time. So I definitely feel on that, and I think maybe offline, you and I need to exchange some stories about Vegas.
For sure.
For sure, no doubt. If you were stranded an island coach, what are the three things that you would hope to have with you?
I think a good book or a good book series. I've just gone through Kobe Bryant's fantasy series, like the Wizardnet series, and
Yeah.
and that was really good. And so probably packing kind of a series of books like that. There's a suspension trainer called the TRX, which can be looped over top of branches and trees and things like that, and so something to get a workout in, and probably a notebook. I think sometimes great ideas and thoughts come from stillness and quietness, and sort of have a place to write those things down, I think would be kind of important.
Yeah, for sure.
To kind of get things out. So those would be my three.
For sure. Now back to the. I think I might know what your answer here is, but I don't want to make assumptions. But back to the whole food thing: sweet or savory?
It's got to be sweet for me. I have a big time sweet tooth. So yeah, that was the easy one. Yeah, sweet for sure.
I like it. All-time favorite basketball or coaching moment?
Again, this was a really tough one. I've been fortunate to be part of some really great programs and work with some really great athletes along the way, and I think had an opportunity to work with an athlete who suffered an ACL injury, and working with her rehabbing, and I think seeing her step back on the floor to play her first game back. I wasn't, this was when I had transitioned over to Seneca, and she was still at Humber, and I went to that game even though I was kind of working at another school. She put so much hard work into that rehab, and so that was a really big moment for her, and also for me, because I knew kind of what was happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. But also at the same time, I think another great moment was climbing up the ladder to cut a piece of mesh off, after being part of a national championship team in 2015 with Humber College men's basketball. And so those two are kind of up there, for different reasons, but those were my top two for sure.
Yeah. And for our listeners that don't know too much about the hoop scene in Ontario and the eastern part of eastern part of the country, Humber men's basketball is a powerhouse, and at the college level, and they are perpetually perennial national finalists or champions, or runners up. So that's impressive that you're part of a program. And I think if I remember correctly, our guest from last week, Coach Chang, he got his starts over at Humber as well too. So
yeah, he did. Actually, we beat VIU in that final.
Oh, okay.
Not to rub it in, but yeah, we beat VIU in that final.
Well, let it be known, VIU. Humber's coming for you guys. Coach, who's your favorite NBA team?
This was a really tough one. I'm not sure I have a favorite team. I just love good matchups right now. I've been very fortunate to visit some NBA staffs over the last few years, and so I always root for them and those teams that they're maybe I visited, but, to say, I have a certain team that, I don't miss their games, or I have a bunch of their gear. I don't know if I'm at that spot right now. I just love the game, and will watch, a matchup, whether that's a team matchup or individual matchup. But yeah, that's kind of where I am. When I was a kid, on the other hand, it was the Bulls.
Yes, sir.
It was Jordan.
Yes, sir.
That was my team as a young basketball fan, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I, growing up in the same era, that if we weren't Bulls fans, something was wrong with our heads.
Yeah, you're either a Laker fan or a Celtics fan or a Bulls fan at that
Bulls
time.
fan, yeah, because there's no other
Yeah.
team. Maybe Utah once in a while, but there's no other team
Yeah.
after that. Like if you
And
said,
Detroit
"Oh,
too.
I
I
like,
mean, yeah.
yeah, I like this random team," people would look at you like, "Who?
Mhm.
That's not the Bulls. That's not the Lakers. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So with that said, then, would you say that you have a favorite NCAA team?
Yeah, I think it was Virginia Tech, and now it's transitioned to Texas A&M. And I think
Okay.
that's more about Coach Bugs Williams and Coach Jamie McNeely. I've had a chance
Yeah.
to work with Coach Jamie as part of the national program, and just to see how they run their program and prepare those young men on and off the floor.
Yeah.
They do such a great job, and they put a lot of stuff out there as far as some of the things they talk to their team about outside of X's and O's. And so that's my college program that I kind of follow closely. Again, there's some Canadians on that team as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I sit with the NCAA.
No, for sure. And speaking of Coach Jamie McNeely at Texas A&M, shout out to Coach Jamie. Him and I were just texting, actually just as recently as last week, just catching up, and I caught some of his random DJing that he had put up on Instagram. So him and I were having a laugh about that. So shout out to Texas A&M and Coach Jamie McNeely. We hope that wish you guys best of luck in your rest of your season. Hope you guys make the tournament.
I actually messaged him as well after seeing that, and said, it's so cool that for players and other coaches to just see, like, that we have hobbies outside of basketball, right?
Yeah,
and outside of coaching,
yeah.
right? And that hopefully his kids can see that, his student athletes can see that, and other people could see that and say, like, you need something outside of off the floor to kind of balance yourself and center yourself, right? And so for him, maybe that's on the ones and twos, right? And for other people, it's other things, right?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we know that you are the lead strength and conditioning coach at McMaster men's basketball team and basketball program there, and also with Canada basketball and the national team at the cadet and junior level. Just real quick, how did you get involved with those two programs?
Yeah, I'll try and keep this as kind of as brief as possible. Canada basketball has utilized Humber College for many years, running their cadet training camps and the junior national training camps. And so one summer, their strength coach, Josh Ford, who's at the University of Guelph, was unable to attend one summer. And so, their team manager, whose name is James DePoe, he was a varsity coordinator at Humber. And so he said to the head coach at the time, who was Coach Rana, who's with the Sacramento Kings.
Shout out to Roy Rana at Sacramento.
Yeah. And so, he said, hey, we have a guy here that I think could do it and would be a good fit. And so, that materialized, and I filled in for Josh that summer, and then just kind of the ball kept rolling from there. And worked cadet and junior national, and then kind of junior academy, and was involved in the program pretty heavily for a few years, and then now it's transitioned kind of just to working with the junior team when my schedule allows. So that's kind of how that materialized. I had a relationship with the strength and conditioning coordinator at McMaster for a few years, and Coach PT at Mac. We knew each other from Canada basketball as well, and so a position became available this fall. They kind of approached me. I jumped at it. For those who don't know, being a strength coach for a single team at the USports level is pretty rare and pretty unique. You usually have multiple teams multiple responsibilities. And so for this opportunity to come up, was something I had to jump on. And so that's kind of how I got to both of these spots.
No, that's fantastic. And, just for those, the way I like to say it, and is for those who are listening to this, the youngins and even parents, but especially for the youth, it's all about networking. It's all about, talking to people, and it's about, it's not always about what you know, but it's about who you know. And, if you afford them the respect, they'll afford you the respect. And, I mean, it's amazing your start and your journey from starting out at Humber all those years ago to now being involved with our national program and a prestigious university as McMaster in its own right. It's pretty impressive. It's awesome.
Yeah, you never know who's watching you, right? And so, like you said, networking is important. Doing the best that you can when you're being where your feet are, as the expression goes, right? And doing the best you can where you are, and focusing on that. And you never know who's watching and what opportunities are going to come up for you.
Yeah. And so, Coach, last question we have for you here. Then what we're going to do is actually we're going to get you to come back, and we'll do the second half of our programming here, where we have just a few questions in relation to some. We just want to get to the nitty gritty about the strength and conditioning. But the last question that I had for you is, what is your all-time favorite basketball movie?
Okay, obviously we may kind of not include the old Michael Jordan highlight movies, Come Fly With Me, and those type of things. And I know Coach P, I know you've got some of those on the VHS in the basement
Yes,
or something. But
yes, sir.
if we don't count those, then it's got to be a tie between Love and Basketball and Glory Road. Those are two fantastic movies. Again,
yes,
I think
yes.
I'm showing my age a bit, but those are my two favorite basketball movies.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, those are excellent choices. I think those I can watch those any day, right? Any day, all day for sure. Coach, stick around. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break here, and in the second part of the show, we're going to we want to get into some real details about strength and conditioning at the university and national level. We'll
Sounds
be right
great.
back. This has been a minute. We'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of our show. And welcome to It's been a minute. We're joined today by Coach Jay Melhado out of McMaster University and Canada basketball, the cadet and junior national teams. Coach, you still with us?
Yep, I'm here, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for sticking around. Before we get into the nitty gritty and the nuts and bolts about strength and conditioning, we just wanted to kind of get your take on things. So like our episode 4, we're touching on the importance of sports and sort of strength and conditioning in the basketball realm, looking at it from, obviously the weight room, diet, nutrition, in season, off season. Kind of before we get into the nuts and bolts, kind of just give us a brief overview of like your approach to developing and incoming freshmen at the post-secondary level in the strength and conditioning realm.
I think this has been a really obviously interesting year as far as being able to work with freshmen. Everybody's kind of a freshman, right? And these freshmen have an extra year to prepare, right? And so this is a little bit different. But in a normal situation, which I'm trying to get a hold of them as soon as they commit, and just kind of start a relationship with them. Where are they from? What do they have access to at home? Do they have a trainer at home that they work with, whether that's from a skill development side or from strength and conditioning. Maybe they have a facility or that they go to, and just start to get to know them as a person, right? What do they like to do? What areas do they feel they need to improve on? What the coach maybe needs them to come in with certain skills, and then we go from there. It's hard to send a program to someone who maybe doesn't know you, right? And
Right.
they're really going to do it, right? And so I've really focused on that in the last few years, is just getting to know them and having a Zoom call or having a phone call, and then going from there and making sure that when they come in, or if you're a young athlete, you want to focus on just being able to do the basic kind of body weight movements, right? I know it's
Right.
not flashy, but can you do a push-up, proper push-up, and can you get into a good squat position? Do you have balance on one foot? Things like that. And if you have those baselines and we're checking those boxes, then it makes my job or the strength conditioning job a lot easier, because you can jump right in, right? If we have to catch you up, right, then we're gonna have an issue.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thanks for answering that.
Coach, so why strength and conditioning? What fuels your passion for it?
I think what the big underlining piece for me is helping athletes reach their physical potential, and I've also kind of focused in the last few years of helping sport coaches. A lot of them want to integrate strength and conditioning to their team and to their team culture, but maybe they're not quite sure how. And so I've tried to utilize some of my experiences to help coaches as well. So that's kind of that's kind of my my big why. What fuels me every day is those relationships that are formed with the athletes or with the coaches, and seeing their effort and seeing their passion, and that's contagious, right? And it's hard to have a bad day when everyone around you has energy and has passion for what they're doing and wanting to improve themselves and their team. It's hard to be down in the dumps, right? And so that really kind of fuels my tank.
Right. So I know like the workout room's the best when like everyone's cheering you on, trying to get your PR, I think, is personal record.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just a different feeling when everyone's trying to push you to become the better you in the weight room.
Yeah, that's the great part about team sport, right? Is your teammates are there to hype you up and to push you and to make sure that you're doing your best, and so that that's a great environment to work in every day for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. And it's always for me talking to different coaches and different people in the sports world and the professional world, hearing what fuels them and what their how that is their passion. It's a real treat for me, and I love hearing it. Just briefly, real quick, Coach, who are some of the notable players and athletes that you've worked with over the years, and how are those experiences been for you?
As I mentioned, through my time, I've been very fortunate to work with some fantastic programs, both at the college level and within Canada basketball, and to see some of those players, whether that's go to Division I or play in the CEBL, or even get into the NBA, right? It's amazing to see them grow as players and as young people as well, right? When we think about our junior academy program, where we're bringing these young athletes in their grade 6 or their grade 7 and 8, and spending a whole year with them, as 12 and 13-year-olds, and seeing them progress to 15 and 16, and now progress into a lot of these guys are our first year D1 guys, like Josh Primo, who's in at Alabama. He was a junior academy kid, right? Caleb Houston, like a lot of these young guys who are just about to make a name for themselves were junior academy guys. And hoping to see that those habits that we tried to instill in them as young guys, hopefully that has stuck with them. A big moment for me was working the signature All-Star game a couple years back. That was a really fun experience. That was to see some guys that I had worked with in the past, and it's their last kind of high school game before they went to college. Guys like RJ, Lou Dortz, Emmanuel Miller, Andrew Nemhart, like these type of guys were in this game right before they went to school. And so that was a really cool moment to see them, the excitement in them about going to school and, being a step or two away from their goals, right? It was really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, someone like RJ now is playing for the Knicks. I mean, that must be
right.
It must be so surreal for you to like show on the TV and, oh my God, there's a guy that I just, I just talk to him mostly every day or every other day, or I was just with him recently. It's
crazy. And Lou too. Lou Dortz, who's in Oklahoma City.
Did you see his game winner last night?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So we see these guys, in the summer for a few weeks at national camp, and we do maybe see them at Christmas time, or sporadically throughout the year, right? And so to be able to see them at that game was, again, a really cool experience. There was just so much excitement around that game and around them as individuals too. It was a really cool experience.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, Coach, we have one last question for you before we go to commercial break, and we sadly say goodbye to you. But if there was one or two things that you were able to, or you were going to say to our audience, who would probably be, youth basketball players who are trying to make it to the next level, or, maybe picking up the basketball for the first time, what would you say what would be one or two things you'd say to them?
Yeah, I think, I kind of touched on it before, like, some of the simple things, like, that people think are simple as far as exercises, like, doing a squat or balancing on one leg, or, doing a really good push-up. They're not easy things, right? Sometimes that gets confused, that simple equals easy, and that's not always the case. And so, that's why I would start is working on those things. And you don't need equipment for that. I mean, it helps. We're in a pandemic, so equipment's, hard to come by anyway, but you don't need equipment. You just need some commitment, right? And you'll see your strength improve. The other thing I would say would be to take some breaks from basketball and play other sports. And that might not mean being in a league of other sport or playing rep, of another sport. That just means maybe, going out with your friends and playing soccer like we were talking about before, right? And just getting your body used to different movements, and those different movements and different skills will come back on the basketball court. Yes. And you'll have kind of these other movements in your library and at your disposal, both on defense and on offense. That's going to help you become a better player. Those are the two things that I would probably say.
Oh, those are wonderful things. I know from a coaching standpoint, cross training is a big thing that we do with our athletes. We do 4 progressions, and one of those progressions is track training, and we go to the track and do straight up running and sprinting, and there's different things. We do hurdles, and those things are gonna translate, like you said, onto the basketball courts, and even soccer players with the footwork, especially, right? That's so key in getting that full breadth of training is so important. Well, Coach,
exactly.
We loved this. Like I said, I was excited all week. I know Coach Anand, who's the co-host with Coach Oli, is kind of upset. Well, he actually was quite upset that he wasn't able to be on the call. Tonight he sends his regrets, but we wanted to thank you once again. This has been a minute. We're here with Coach Jay Melhado from McMaster University and Team Canada Junior and Cadet Program. Coach, we thank you.
Stay safe,
and we will definitely talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, guys. Again, I'm really humbled that you asked, and really appreciate what you guys are doing out west, and keep up the great work. And anytime you want me back, I'm glad to come back.
We'll definitely have you back, and anytime that you make some Jamaican food, send it our way.
Will do. I don't know what the Uber Eats charge is going to be across the country, but we'll make it work.
We'll make it work, right? Exactly. All right, Coach. Thank you. Be well. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, welcome back, guys. We just said goodbye to Coach Jay Melhado out of the university, sorry, McMaster University, sorry, my bad, and Canada basketball. Coach Oli, what oof,
That was quite a
that
lot.
was price of admission. What did you take away from Coach?
I mean, he explained his experience. I've learned a lot from him, just from strength and conditioning wise. He didn't mention a lot about basketball and mainly focused about strength and conditioning, and which was what we were expecting. And uh, I just loved his answers from all of our questions. He had some pretty funny answers regarding the food, and
Absolutely.
that's all I can say.
Yeah. And it's always a real treat, as we go forward. We're going to have different coaches, and some are, heavily involved in basketball, some are involved in sport in general, some are involved from the sport psychology aspect of things, um, and mental performance. And those are all key aspects and key contributors to, not only just basketball but sport, but also life. All these things that you're learning, you're gonna have to apply them to life. I mean, Coach Ali, you're at UBC, you're in school, and I'm sure, if you want to briefly just touch on maybe some of the transferable skills that you learn from the basketball courts to the classroom, or even being at university, what are some of those things?
There's some aspects to the classroom, like there's self-discipline. You gotta learn how to time, like time management is a really big thing in university. When it's a little bit different from high school, you don't have like your high school teachers telling you, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that by the end of the week. You kind of have to know what you need to do by yourself, and mainly the most important part is you need to learn how to self-study because professors have lectures, and on the midterms and exams, like final exams, not all the content will be from the lectures. There's also content from the textbook, and you need to learn from both sides. So
Yeah.
self-independence is a very big key thing from uh, just from transitioning from the court to the university.
Yeah, and so you mentioned about independence, but I feel about it like even just having that intrinsic motivation, right? There's no one going to breathe down your neck if you don't study. It means you're going to
Exactly.
fail your exam. So you got to have that intrinsic motivation. No, that's great. Um, Real quick here, and just the last few things. Um, rumor has it that Kyle Lowry might be traded from the Raptors or might land in the Sixers. What are your thoughts to
Really,
that? Should the Raptors trade Kalo, or should they retain him for another year or two?
I don't know because I don't know how I should answer this because I might get some backlash if I answer this wrong. Um, hopefully, I mean, hopefully he stays in on the Raptors. Hopefully they don't trade him away, but realistically, I think he would want to be traded back to his. I think it's his hometown, right? Philly is his hometown.
Philly, yes, it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's always great to play in your hometown, as an NBA player, and then you can see your family, your friends, see you succeed if they were home games. I don't know, cause there's Ben Simmons at the point guard slash power forwards position. Are there any other notable point guards on the 76ers, would you say?
No, so the rumors would have it that if they were to do the deal, it'd be a version of either Ben Simmons coming back, or someone like a Shake Milton and a Maurice Thybulle coming back to the Raptors. Basically, let's say if this happens. I personally, I'm split 50-50 because I love the Raptors. I love Kalo. I love the energy, his competitive spirit. I love all the things he brings to the Raptors. So I really, the emotional side of me says no, the basketball side of me says no, but I know that's also the business side of things of the NBA is
Right.
part of it. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see. Last week and the week before that, we started off with the Quad A. Last week we touched on Triple A. Now we're looking to Double A. Who do you have as the teams to watch out for, the AA boys basketball side of things?
Well, there's always the really strong programs that make it to provincials every year, and they end up they end up getting seeded very high, and they end up placing very high at the provincial March provincial tournament. Some teams to watch out for are the King George Dragons. They've always been there every year with their coach Darko. Darko, he shout out to him. I played against the King George Dragons once in my high school career. They were scary. We got blown out really bad in front of their home crowd during lunchtime at their own tournament. Darko's a cool guy. He participates in the warm ups, and I don't know if you've seen it before, but
Oh yeah,
their pregame chant is pretty wild.
oh yeah. Darko brings the energy. He brings that passion, and he always gets his guys amped and ready to play. Yeah, no, I've played against Darko when I was
Like
at
we said
Kits.
earlier, the weight room energy. Imagine that in the whole gym.
Yeah,
It's all
no
him.
doubt.
Another team is the Brentwood College. Brentwood
Oh, from the
College is,
island. Okay.
yep, from the island. They're always a strong program. Mulgrave Titans, we played them last year, and gotta say again, we got blown out pretty bad in the finals or quarterfinals of a tournament.
Okay.
And who else? Langley Christian Lightning. They've been a pretty good team as well.
They're pretty strong. Yeah.
You have any teams?
I mean, because we went up there when I was at Kits a couple years ago. I gotta show the love out to Charles Hayes Rainmakers and Prince
Oh,
Rupert.
of course, of course. Yeah.
You know, Liam McChesney's over at Utah State, and we went up there, and shout out to Ryan and Mel, who are the head coaches there. Prince Rupert's a fantastic, beautiful, beautiful town. If you guys have never been there, you should definitely go there at some point. They're very hospitable. Shout out to the McChesneys and the rest of the town there. They're super, super kind, and they took us in and they showed us around and they picked us up from our hotel, drove us to the game, drove us back. Can't say much, anything. Can't say enough good things about the folks up in Prince Rupert and the folks over at Charles Hayes Rainmakers. So that would be my vote on who to look out, because year in year out for the junior level and the senior level, both their teams are fairly strong. And I know they come down and they play you guys and they play Kits. I think it's usually in January, December they come down. And then they stick around and they play at the VC tournament. So
Right.
that would be my pick really to watch out for in the AA. Coach, real quick here, we trained some kids, some of our athletes this past weekend. You kind of want to walk everyone through real quickly on what you did with Riley Ferris.
Yeah, shout out to Riley. If you're listening to this. So basically what I did with Riley the other day was the consistency drill that consistent shooting drill that Coach Anand and I talked about last week. Man, I've got to say Riley does not quit. No matter what happens, he's focused. Like I tell him what to fix after each shot. He keeps that in mind, and he made 3 in a row. You're able to move to the next spot. If you miss 2 in a row, you go back to the spot you originally came from, and that was what we were working on.
There was a lot of
Riley,
shooting and dribbling and game action, right? I think if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
taught him some a post move that's pretty hard to do, really hard to do. And I taught Riley how to do it, and he broke it down into like smaller components. We worked on each component, and then at the end he was able to sort of get a grasp of what it looked like, and we hoped eventually next week or this week actually, this Saturday session, we hope to work on that more and perfect it.
And build from there. Yeah, no doubt. And while you were doing that on the other court, I witnessed, I saw Coach Anand putting Alex through his paces, and man, they were working. They were working. Alex was sweating. They were working
I
on
saw, yeah,
some pinch post action and having Alex come up from the corner blast and attack and looking to go downhill and different finishes, and then having him come off the cross screen, clean up screen, those kind of actions that you're going to have in game, dribble handoff into a pull or dribble handoff looking to go downhill again, or using the flare screen and looking to create the 0.5 advantage. That was for me, watching that happen was a real treat. And the one thing I got to give shout out to Alex as well too, that he doesn't quit. He's
Yeah.
always he's ready to go, and he doesn't he doesn't complain. He say, hey, do this, he'll do it. So
Right.
the main thing there is just focusing on the fundamentals, right? And building each thing that we do builds on the next. um Lastly, as we wrap up here, to our audience, our tryouts are upcoming. Where right now we've settled on March the 13th, right? So when March break, I believe, is starting. We will communicate this via our Instagram. But if you have any questions, hit us up on our socials. You can find us on IG at f.o.r.m._basketball. Hit us up on Twitter as well too, at Form Basketball. There's no dots in between that one. Our website, we failed to mention it, our website is www.formbasketball.com. You can also find these recordings on SoundCloud. Just type in Been a Minute Weekly Podcast. And also you can find us on YouTube. Just type in Been a Minute Season 1. And it's also on our website. Go to our website, hit the More tab, and podcast is on there. All right. Thanks for being with us this evening. We had Coach Jay Melhado. Once again, shout out to him, out of McMaster University, and Canada basketball and Team Canada Junior Cadet and Team Canada Cadet and Junior team. Coach Oli, any other administrative things or words of wisdom before we leave?
No, I'd just like to say that we have an extremely amazing guest next week, another one. And can I drop a little hint?
Drop a little hint.
She,
It's little one. A little one.
she used to be a pro. She played pro ball before. That's all I'm gonna say.
There it
Um,
is. That's
yeah,
it.
that's it.
So tune in next week. Once again, this has been a minute brought to you by Foreign Basketball Academy. Again, hit us up on our socials. You could also email us, coaches at Foreign Basketball, COACHES at Foreign Basketball, and one of the staff will get back to you. Coach Anand again sends regrets. He'll be back next week, and you guys won't have him to listen to my old man raspy voice. These two fine gentlemen have been doing a wonderful job, and in about a month's time, the third person to their trio, Coach Cam, will be back in Vancouver, and he'll be ready to go and ready to rock with you guys. Once again, this has been a minute. Coach Oli, thank you for being a gracious host as always,
Of course.
and we'll see you guys next week for episode 5.
Peace out.